Live from Soldier Field under overcast skies, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears. And light snow is falling for the first time in Chicago, Illinois. Doesn't figure to be a factor, however, and the winds are light in the Windy City. Hello, everyone. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field. And Johnny, these are two teams in search of a victory. The Eagles have lost 4 in a row. The Bears have lost their last 2 since beating the Eagles in the rain at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. And, of course, as usual, every week, the soap opera of the Chicago Bears includes an episode on the quarterbacks.
That's right. It's going to be Jim McMahon. In fact, Mike Ditka earlier this week said that McMahon is going to be his quarterback for the rest of the season. He was drafted #1 a couple of years ago, and he says he thinks that he is the man, the future quarterback for the Chicago Bears. That has upset Vince Evans, who is now looking around at the United States Football League. So the one thing that has now been settled, Jim McMahon is the Bear quarterback.
Well, despite whichever player has been at quarterback, the Bears have moved the ball effectively, but haven't been able to get it into the end zone often enough. The Eagles' offense, contrarily, has been dismal all season long. They have had one bright spot, however, and that is wide receiver Mike Quick, who leads the entire league in pass receiving yardage.
That's correct, Tim. He has 965 yards to lead the league. He's caught 44 balls, and he's been the Eagles' big threat because of the fact that Wilbert Montgomery has been out. They've really missed Montgomery. They have only one real big threat as far as a game breaker, and that's Mike Quick, and we'll see how Jaworski finds him.
All right, the Bears have won the toss and will receive. Tony Franklin will kick it off. #1, the barefoot kicker, and having his first taste of the colder weather this season, although it was a little nippy last week in Philadelphia. Dennis Gentry is the deep man for the Chicago Bears, #29. And as we said, there are some light flakes of snow falling for the first time in Chicago this season. The temperatures at about 37 degrees for the kickoff. And it bounces between Hutchison and Gentry into the end zone, and they will have to settle for a touchback. So a miscue right on the opening kickoff for the Chicago Bears, with Gentry and Hutchison both not sure which of them was going to return the ball. For the Chicago Bears from their 20-yard line, Jim McMahon, the designated starter, will be the quarterback. Matsui, Walter Payton. The running backs, Dennis McKinnon, Willie Gault, will start at wide receiver. Covert, Jackson, Hilgenberg for the injured Dan Neal, Becker and Andy Frederick for the injured Keith Van Horn, Emery Moorhead, the tight end. Keith Van Horn is in uniform, but nursing a tender ankle, could play today at the right tackle spot if necessary. Pat Dunsmore has come in as a double tight for the Chicago Bears, with Moorhead for this opening play. Moorhead in motion. Payton on first down. And the Eagles string it out well with #59, Joel Williams, making the tackle, the right outside linebacker, and Anthony Griggs, #58, joining him there. Defensively, in the 3-4 lineup for the Eagles, Dennis Harrison, Ken Clark, and Carl Hairston, all bothered with knee injuries of one kind or another. Reggie Wilkes, Jerry Robinson, Griggs, and Williams, a healthy and very solid linebacking core. The secondary, Roynell Young and Herman Edwards on the corners. Wes Hopkins back in action at free safety, and the veteran Randy Logan at strong. Second down and 8, a 2-yard pickup for Walter Payton. Moorhead in motion behind the ball. Payton trying this side. Appeared to have a hole, but an excellent fill on the job by Randy Logan, the safety, coming up and tripping up Payton and holding him to about a 3, maybe a 4-yard gain. Good defensive play there, Johnny, by Logan.
It certainly was. He's a tough guy, and he had to come across the line of scrimmage and take on 2 pulling linemen for the Chicago Bears. Took them on and made the tackle. Randy Logan, his best forte is to get up there and stop those end runs. He does a great job at that.
The Eagles move to a 4-man front, bringing in Byron Darby, #94, and Greg Brown, #98, in this passing situation. 3rd and a long 5. Brenard Wilson is also in as the nickelback. McKinnon in motion behind the ball. McMahon, good catch, and it is incomplete. He had it momentarily, McKinnon, and then dropped the ball. On the coverage was Roynell Young, the cornerback. And McKinnon nearly made a good catch. Indeed, I thought he had it, but as he was hit, he dropped it.
With the quick rollout, McKinnon was in motion, just went down the field, got to the first down marker, and dipped to the outside. McMahon hit him right on the nose, but the ball squirted loose, could not hang on to it, and the Bears will have to punt.
Bob Parsons comes in at his 10-yard line. He has punted 53 times this season for an average of 37.8. Has been outstanding kicking from midfield into the corners. John Shira, back from injured reserve a week ago against Dallas, will be the punt returner, standing at the Eagles' 40. This one hangs up short and goes out of bounds in Bears territory at the 47-yard line, and some early boos from the crowd here at Soldier Field. Bob Parsons not happy with that. The Eagles offensively have Ron Jaworski with Michael Williams, the rookie, for Wilbert Montgomery at running back with Hubie Oliver. Mike Quick and Harold Carmichael, a wide receivers. A veteran offensive line. Walters, Kenny, Morris, Baker, and Sizemore bothered with a shoulder all season. The tight end is Vito Cab for the injured John Spagnola. First down for the Eagles, and they are in Bears territory for their opening series. The ball at the 46-yard line. One setback is Williams, pardon me, number 32. Pitch out to Williams, and Williams is stopped at the corner after a gain of about 3 yards. Trying to get wide on this opening offensive play. It was Tyrone Keys making the tackle with Otis Wilson. Defensively, the Bears are banged up. Mike Hartenstein, the only starter along the front four. Tyrone Keys and Richard Dent are rookies. Steve McMichael for the injured All-Pro Dan Hampton. The linebackers have Otis Wilson and Mike Singletary. Gary Campbell, the team starter at the beginning of the season, getting into his first game action. Richardson, Frazier, Dewerson for the injured Gary Fensick at the free safety, along with Todd Bell at strong. Second down and 7 for the Eagles from the Bears' 43. Pitch out to Williams again. Michael Williams, and once more the Bears contain him well. He picked up maybe 2. A flag is down over there at the sideline. Otis Wilson got an arm on him, and Mike Richardson, the cornerback, forced him out of bounds, number 27.
The penalty apparently is going to go against the Chicago Bears as these two teams play each other for the second time in 3 weeks. As you know, the Bears won in the rain in Philadelphia 7-6 in a very conservative game plan basically by both teams. Let's hope that they'll open it up. We got a team with a 3-7 record, a team with a 4-6 record, and I hope they just want to have some fun and play football. They haven't got too much in the way of aspirations for title hopes. So let's open it up and have some fun. Wouldn't you say, Tim?
I agree with you, Johnny. The penalty to Mike Richardson from Bob McElwee for grasping the face mask. Of course, the Eagles feel that they've still got a shot at a wild card, but they need some help from other teams. 73 penalties for the Chicago Bears, and teams with losing records usually have a stat something like that. It has been a big problem, as everybody knows. This football team has been able to move it rather well offensively, but here they are with a 3-7 record. Mistakes and lack of turnovers in their favor have been a huge factor in the lack of success of the Bears. 2nd and 3 for the Eagles. Play action up the middle to Cab, complete for a first down inside the 20-yard line. Singletary and Frazier made the tackle, but Ron Jaworski hit Cab perfectly on play action, and they have a first down in scoring territory.
Yes, he had Singletary, number 50, have to cover Cab, and as you know, Cab caught several passes against the Bears the last time, and he's starting to catch more and more passes as each game goes by. Vito Cab making himself known there early in the season. He wasn't catching much of anything, but he's starting to come on a little bit.
Cab went off limping after that tackle. He had to kind of turn to make the catch and put himself in an awkward position when he took the hit, so he is left with the tender leg. First down from the 20-yard line where they have spotted the ball. No score. Opening series for the Eagles. Williams got away from the diving try from Bell, was forced out of bounds by Wilson. A flag on the play. Michael Williams, the rookie from Mississippi College, the number 5 pick this year for the Eagles, certainly didn't expect to see as much starting action, but with an injury to Wilbert Montgomery and the early failure of Michael Haddix at running back, the number 1 pick out of Mississippi State, Michael Williams finds himself the starter, and he has picked up 285 yards rushing for the Eagles. The flag is against Philadelphia.
Number 87, offense, first down.
Larry Sampleton charged with holding, the second-year man from Texas, who is coming off a foot injury and has seen very little action last week, his first game. And he is in for Vito Cab, and they have only 2 tight ends, having released Al Dixon yesterday in favor of wide receiver Tony Woodruff. So the Eagles could find themselves in difficulty if Cab cannot return. First down from the 30-yard line, 20 to go. Jaworski, lots of time, lobs it for Sampleton. It's intercepted by Frazier. Leslie Frazier tripped over his own man, but has the ball for Chicago at the 17-yard line.
I'd have to say that was an ill-advised pass by Jaworski, who had plenty of time to throw. He tries to throw it up and over to Sampleton, but watch, there are 3 Bears in the coverage. You talk about throwing into double and triple coverage. He thought he just had a linebacker, but Frazier dropped off, and there were all kinds of Chicago Bears around. They stopped the Eagles' drive. Leslie Frazier, number 21, who has silently been playing a good cornerback for the Bears. So Jaworski hasn't had that many interceptions this year, Tim, but that was one that should not have been. Shouldn't have thrown it.
4th interception of the season for Leslie Frazier. Will return with the Bears having the ball. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field, where Leslie Frazier has intercepted for the Bears. That is only the 9th interception of the season for Ron Jaworski, but it was not one of his better judgments in throwing the ball. First down from the 17-yard line for the Bears. One setback is Payton. Through play action, they fake the pitch. Rolling to his right, he has a man open, and that is the tight end Dunsmore at the 25-yard line. And a pickup on the play of about 8 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 2 for the Bears.
That's the 2nd straight rollout for McMahon. Reggie Wilkes put some pressure on him, but he had Moorhead and Dunsmore short and deep here, so he had one of them to go to. Actually, Moorhead was pretty clear down the field, and McMahon, with good judgment, though, took the sure pass. He hit Dunsmore on the sidelines. Jim McMahon, a mobile quarterback, not quite as fast as Vince Evans is, but he moves around pretty well.
2nd and 2 for the Bears from their own 25. Scoreless football game, opening period here at Soldier Field, 11:03 to play. Moorhead shifts back and forth to give us to Matt Suey, and Matt Suey has nowhere to go. There'll be a loss on the play for Suey. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Anthony Griggs and Reggie Wilkes, 58 and 51, the linebackers combining on Suey. Marion Campbell there in the center of your screen, wearing the woolen cap on this fairly nippy afternoon in Chicago. You know, the Eagles have never won a game here in Soldier Field since 1933. That's a long time.
Of course, the Bears played at Wrigley Field for a long time. They've only been at Soldier Field since about 1970, but they still have not won in Chicago.
3rd and about 1.5 yards. Out of the I formation, the pitch to Payton.
Oh!
Payton is met by the noseman Clark and is held short of the first down.
What a collision between Logan and Matt Suey. Did you see that?
You could hear it.
You could hear it up here. As Logan came up to field and knocked the interference down, it was an unbelievable collision between 26 and 41. As Suey's got a lot of power, but so does Logan. Now watch for number 41 to come through the gap. There's the collision with 26. Suey just ran right over him, and that cleared the interference, and a whole bunch of Eagles got in on the tackle.
It'll be 4th and about a foot, and the punting unit is coming on the field for the Chicago Bears with the yardage of the line of scrimmage at their 27-yard line. Now, those of you who have not seen the Bears on television in the last week are probably wondering about that patch on the shoulder of the uniforms. That is in memory of George Stanley Halas, the founder of the Chicago Bears, who died a week ago. Parsons will stand at his 12-yard line at the 40 of Philadelphia. John Shira, number 21. Long count by the Bears. Parsons again. This one hangs up. There may be a little wind up there. And a pile-up at midfield where the Eagles will get good field position again. Dennis Gentry making the tackle with Brian Cabral on John Shira. Johnny, looking at the wind high in the stadium, there does seem to be a fair amount because that ball is hung up twice for Parsons. We'll be right back. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, and a 27-yard punt by Bob Parsons, who had a 22-yarder on his first try into the wind here at Soldier Field. And so the Eagles again with good field position. Their first offensive series ended in an interception at the Bears 17. They are at midfield, first down. QB Oliver is hit by Steve McMichael, number 76, the right defensive tackle, after a gain of about a yard. McMichael getting an opportunity with the injury to Dan Hampton. He is the 4-year man out of Texas who was the backup lineman really in all 4 positions along the front. And with the injury to Hampton, McMichael getting a chance as an active pass rusher, and he's done a good job. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the NFL is prohibited. 2nd and 9. Oliver in motion. Straight drop. The pass out to Oliver, hit immediately. Good coverage by the Bears on that play. It was Todd Bell, number 25, holding the pass to a 3-yard gain. It'll bring up 3rd and a long 5 for the Eagles at the Bear 45-yard line.
Now, Wilbert Montgomery is suited up. He's not going to play, but they're hoping to get him back in the game for them next week. As you know, when you take Montgomery out of the Eagle lineup, you know, they really only have Mike Quick as their game breaker. They have some good running backs, but they haven't established a breakaway running back, so you're operating with one real threat, and that really hampers the Eagles' offense, I think.
Williams and Schmidt have come into the Bears secondary on the passing down. Quick in motion behind the ball. Jaworski out to Mike Quick, and he is hit immediately, but may have the first down. Terry Schmidt at the 40-yard line. It will be close, and it appears from where they're marking it that it will be a little short. We'll wait and see. Mike Quick in motion, catching that sideline pass. Nickelback Terry Schmidt in pursuit.
Now you can see Quick coming back in motion, fakes to go back the other way, and then takes off and then down to the outside, hoping that he can break the tackle by Schmidt, and he almost did. Schmidt had to hang on. He went out of bounds, and it's very close. Did they give him the first down?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they got him the first down.
To the 39-yard line of the Bears. So the Eagles convert on 3rd down. Cab in motion this time. The pitch is to Michael Williams. Mike Hartenstein grabbed him from behind. A flag is down on the play. Otis Wilson came up with a loose ball, but the play had been already whistled dead. Penalty flag down. Michael Williams for the injured Wilbert Montgomery. A holding call is the preliminary signal against the Eagles.
Well, there's another key call against Philadelphia. Now, they haven't been plagued by penalties as nearly as much as the Chicago Bears. I think they have 47 going into this game. The Bears had 73.
Holding, 75, offense, first down.
Stan Walters, the veteran left tackle, is charged with holding, so the Eagles hurting themselves on 2 consecutive series. Their penalties there 48 times for 427 yards. And the ball back at the 49-yard line. The Bears have given the Eagles excellent field position on 2 consecutive series, but the Eagles are going backwards at the moment. Looking for their first victory in 5 games. Draw play, Williams. Good job defensively by Gary Campbell, number 59, making his first tackle of the season, as he has been out with an injury since the preseason. Wanted badly to get back into the action with the injuries to Dan Raines and Al Harris, Ryan Cabral. They've had to go to Campbell today, and I'm sure he's glad to be in there.
Yeah, that's a good one for his morale, because when you haven't played all year, you've got a sore knee, you're coming off, I think, watch number 59 right there. He holds his ground. He doesn't make the solid tackle himself, but he hangs on and slows him down so that everybody else can get in on the tackle. Gary Campbell.
2nd down, about 19 to go for the Eagles at the Bears 47. Straight drop, and Mike Quick has the ball, and a touchdown, but a flag is down back upfield.
I think it might go against the Bears anyway, unless there's, I think they might have called Richardson for making a collision.
Holding, number 21, penalty.
It was Frazier.
Touchdown.
The Bears penalty was on the near sideline, away from the ball, against Leslie Frazier, the cornerback, who apparently grabbed a receiver headed downfield. And then there was a collision or a stumble by the Bears secondary where Quick was.
And Richardson stumbled as he had come out there trying to cover Quick, and Quick just reached out with the hands. Nice soft hands, wasn't it? And it was an easy touchdown for Mike Quick.
The league's leading receiver in yardage gain comes up with his 9th touchdown of the season. Tony Franklin with a point after. And the Eagles have opened the scoring here at Soldier Field. as things are getting a little chillier, both in temperature along the sidelines and for the hopes of the Chicago Bears. 7-0, first period, 7:24 to play. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back in Chicago, where you can now see the snowflakes falling at Soldier Field. And the Eagles going 49 yards after the short Bear punt. 5 plays, the big one, Jaworski, a 47-yard touchdown pass to Mike Quick. Franklin will kick it off. Anthony Hutchison on the far sideline. He's got a little running room, gets out over the 25. A good ankle tackle by Elbert Fowles, number 29, on the kickoff return. So the Bears have fairly good field position on that return. Let's take another look at that touchdown play.
And you can see that Mike Richardson, number 27, will take a chance going for the interception. He comes across here, but the pass was way too high. He stumbles and falls to the turf, and Quick made the catch, and it was simple from there. Once Richardson took his chance, kind of collided with Quick, and went to the turf.
Mike Quick, second-year man.
Now, he's the first receiver over 1,000, right? Over 1,000 yards.
Out of North Carolina State. First down for the Bears. Straight ahead, Walter Payton with a head of steam picks up about 6, maybe 7 yards. Robinson tripped him up, and then Randy Logan was underneath as Payton got airborne. Logan got a piece of him on the way down.
Okay, you want to look at it from ground level. You're going to see some action here as Payton just takes off. This time, no fancy stuff. Just put his head down, tried to get what he could out of it because there wasn't much of a hole.
Second down and a long 3 for the Chicago Bears. They feel they can run on the Eagles. A lot of teams have run well, although last week they held in Dallas to 114 yards rushing. McMahon forced out of the pocket, heads for the sideline, and is pulled down from behind by Dennis Harrison, number 68, the left defensive end. And there'll be a loss on the play.
Give some credit to Reggie Wilkes, number 51, on that play. He had Walter Payton covered. He had to cover him man for man, and McMahon tried to hit him, and there was Reggie Wilkes on a tough job. Number 51 covering Payton out of the backfield. Number 34 will come this way. Here's McMahon looking for him. You can't find him. If you look at the right of your screen, well, you won't see that. But anyway, McMahon took off and avoided the interception, and the pressure here comes the tackle by number 68, Dennis Harrison.
Brings up a 3rd and 9, and Darby and Brown have come in up front. Wilson and Ellis have come into the Eagles secondary. Out of the shotgun, McMahon gets protection, now runs out of it. What a good job by Dennis Harrison as McMahon stepped up into the pocket collapsed, and McMahon gets up slowly. Harrison got away from the block of Noah Jackson to make the sack. The Bears will punt.
That was it, because Jackson 65 was blocking, and you can see McMahon ready to take off down the field because the pocket opened up. But there's Harrison with a wise move there. Played off the block by Jackson and made the tackle. Dennis Harrison. That's 2 big plays in a row.
Harrison moves inside to tackle when they go to the 4-man line. That's why he was in that position. Parsons standing at his 7-yard line. John Shara at the 45 of the Eagles. And again, the Eagles will get excellent field position. Shara with a good open field tackle by Gentry. Dropped the ball, but covers up in time. And credit Dennis Gentry from preventing Shara from getting it into Bears territory. They'll spot it at the Philadelphia 49-yard line. When we return with 5:58 remaining in the first period, the Eagles lead it 7-0. Well, the Eagles have stopped the Bears on 3 consecutive offensive series. Bob Parsons has been unable to punt the ball any farther than 30 yards into the wind. So once again, Philadelphia with good field position at midfield. First down. Out of the I formation, Quick in motion back toward the ball. Michael Williams picks up about 3, maybe 4 yards behind the blocking of Cabb and Walters. Let's take a look at some of the other scores from around the NFL this afternoon. Green Bay and Minnesota, big game in the NFC Central. The Packers have taken a 3-0 lead on a Stenerud field goal. Cleveland in front of Tampa Bay, 3-0 on a Matt Barr field goal. Houston looking for its first win, up by a field goal. And Seattle and St. Louis are tied at 7 in the first period. Neil Lomax to Roy Green, and a kickoff return by Zach Dixon to scoring. New England in front of Miami early. Steve Grogan running it in himself from a yard out, make it 7-0. Cincinnati and Kansas City are tied at 3. Second down play, and Steve McMichael had Oliver, and Oliver breaks loose and has the first down. Well, 2 great efforts. McMichael blowing in and nearly having a loss for the Bears. Oliver busting loose and getting the first down for the Eagles.
He runs right over Guy Morris. The number 50 is the center as he gets right through there, and there was a great move by number 34, Hubie Oliver, and he takes it and ad-libs his way and gets a nice gain for Philadelphia.
Mike Richardson finally pulled him down. Hubie Oliver still somewhat of an unknown quantity around the National Football League. He's got 308 of those rushing yards this year, coming into his own. Third-year man out of Arizona. First down. Michael Williams. Williams wants to throw, now puts it down and runs as his man was covered. So the rookie from Mississippi College showed excellent judgment there as a passer on the play. Decided the coverage was there, and he carried the ball. Tyrone Keys, number 98, forced him out of bounds, and Williams picks up about 5 yards on the play.
He got 90 yards last week against Dallas as Philadelphia was very up for that game, that first half last week. They really wanted to play football, and so far they're playing football the first half in this game.
Williams had 75 yards, I believe, in the first period of that game against the Cowboys, and then they shut him down. The Cowboys going on to win 27-20. Second and short 5 for the Eagles. Hubie Oliver blasting through to the 26-yard line and may have another first down. Tyrone Keys, the rookie from Mississippi State, down from the Canadian Football League, had been backing up Hartenstein and Harris at defensive end, but starting for Jim Osborne at left tackle today. Osborne is not hurt. The Bears just feeling that Keys would give them some pass rush pressure, and they might as well take a look at Dent and Keys, the young men who they hope may help them down the road.
Dan Hampton is suited up for the Bears. They're all pro defensive linemen. He has coming off that bad knee. I doubt whether he'll play this week, but he wants to get in there at least by next week as Jim Osborne now comes in. And we have the short yardage situation.
Short by about 2 feet on the play, so it'll be third down, a little more than a half a yard. Osborne is in. Keys, McMichael, Kevin Potter making his first appearance, number 20, recently signed free agent from the Houston Oilers in the defensive backfield. Third and less than a yard for the Eagles, threatening again. Haddock's in motion. Oliver dropped the ball. The Bears have it. Leslie Frazier, number 21, recovers the fumble for the Chicago Bears. Hubie Oliver, who had just made a real good play to get a first down, fumbles it away as the Eagles were threatening again.
Okay, the ball just popped out of there as he dipped to the outside because the hole was not there up the middle. And Frazier, this time, if he had been able to scoop the ball up here on the go, he could have run for a touchdown. But as they say, hey, make sure you get the ball first and then worry about running afterwards. And he did that. The Bears have the ball. But had he been able to scoop it up, he'd had a touchdown. Only one man would have been chasing him, and that's Ron Jaworski. And I think that would have been a mismatch in speed. Bears ball.
Frazier with a interception and a fumble recovery. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field. The Eagles lead 7-0, but they have turned it over twice, and both times to Leslie Frazier of the Chicago Bears. The Bears keep punting it short to the Eagles. The Eagles have given it back twice and scored once. Ball of time, and the pass out to Payton. There'll be a loss on the play, as it was linebacker Joel Williams and Randy Logan, number 41, the safety, having Payton covered well, and I guess he was the release man on the play, but it looked like they were expecting the ball to come to him.
Yeah, I think it was a form of a screen here as Payton went out there, and boy, they were waiting for him. One time you see Payton go up there, fake the block. See, the lineman really didn't get out there, and McMahon would have been better off to go somewhere else. And good play by Logan and, of course, number 59, Anthony Griggs.
Joel Williams, 59.
Oh, excuse me.
All right.
Williams, yeah.
Loss of about 4 to the 30-yard line. Matsui gets a block from Payton, but the Eagles defensively shut it down well. Another flag on the play. And the Eagles defense has been very alert, very aggressive. Reggie Wilkes forcing the play inside. Robinson was there, and a holding penalty to top it off against the Chicago Bears, who, like the Eagles moments ago, were going backwards.
Well, the Eagles are using that 3-4, and they're really shutting Chicago down. As you look at Mike Ditka with Ed Hughes on his left as the offensive coordinator, and Hughes is calling the plays, and Ditka
Number 71
is involved in it, but doesn't call all the plays.
Andy Frederick, the tackle, starting for the injured Keith Van Horn today, called for holding. The former Dallas Cowboy and acquired from the Cleveland Browns in a trade in the offseason this year. The backup tackle getting a start today. Second down from the 20-yard line. Suey and Payton. Quick drop for McMahon. He's got time. He's got Suey open. Suey gets away from one linebacker as they came up to make the play, and he gets over the 30 to the 31. It'll be short of the first down by about 11 yards, however. Jerry Robinson and Wes Hopkins made the tackle on him.
Well, the Eagles will give you that kind of stuff when you have 2nd and 20-something. They'll give you the short swing pass out to the back and bend a little bit but not break. They have allowed the fewest points in the NFC, 194, number 1 defensively on points scored.
And number 1 in the entire NFL in pass defense. Of course, Mike Ditka thinks that may be because they've given up so much against the run, where they're number 24. Scrambling out of the pocket, McMahon has running room. And McMahon has the first down. Jim McMahon sliding over the 45. Well, the first big play of the game offensively for the Chicago Bears, and it's produced on a run by the quarterback, Jim McMahon.
Pretty good coverage down the field as McMahon couldn't find anybody, but he did spot the hole. He's good at adjusting the pocket, found the gap up the middle, took off. He knew he had to get the 10 yards, got to the marker, and then slid into second base safe.
14-yard gain for Jim McMahon. The ball at the Bears' 44-yard line. Wide pro set, Payton and Suey. McKinnon to the right, Galt to the left. Walter Payton straight ahead for about 6. Over the 50-yard line into Eagles territory. Jerry Robinson and Wes Hopkins combining on the tackle. They're glad to have Hopkins back in. The rookie from SMU was the number 2 choice this season. He's a very aggressive safety. He'll come up and pop players and produce some loose footballs, and he missed a couple of games, and they were glad to have him back last week. Number 48, Wes Hopkins.
And Jerry Robinson on the tackle, he leads the team in tackles. He says he likes playing on the inside, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He likes playing against the big backs like Dorsett and Payton. He's the kind of a guy who likes that challenge. McKinnon and Galt are both out to the left. They give it to Payton off tackle left, and he has a first down with Dennis Harrison riding him. But Walter Payton carrying all that weight, 275 pounds, for a Bears first down. Now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim, the Green Bay Packers have just gone up by 10 points, and just moments ago it was Billy Sims of the Lions. The Lions eyeing to stay up there in the NFC Central, and the Lions lead Houston 7-3. Back to Tim.
All right, Brent. We've got a timeout here in Chicago as we have completed the first quarter of play. With the score, the Philadelphia Eagles 7, the Chicago Bears nothing. We'll return to Soldier Field in Chicago in a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Pontiac. Cars that tell the world you're not just along for the ride. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by light beer from Miller, everything you've always wanted in a beer. And let's.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back in Chicago, where the Eagles begin the second period leading 7-0. The Bears have the ball on the first down play to the 43-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. In that first period, the Bears had 37 yards rushing, the Eagles 27. McMahon 3 of 6 for 16 yards. Jaworski 4 of 5 for 75. On first down, deep for McKinnon. McKinnon has the ball. Touchdown.
What great faking by Jim McMahon. Everybody on the field thought that was a run up the middle, and he held the ball down to the side behind him, and all of a sudden the Philadelphia defense realized that it was a pass, and McKinnon has good speed, got down there, made the touchdown. Dennis McKinnon, number 85.
The rookie from Florida State, a free agent who Mike Ditka said all along is going to be a fine receiver in the NFL, and having Willie Gault, who everybody agrees is going to be a top receiver, he can feel pretty good about his receiving core. And of course, Ken Marjoram and Ricky Watts, he's got a lot of speed in his receiving core. Thomas for the point after. And it's good. We have a tie football game. 43-yard touchdown play. Jim McMahon to Dennis McKinnon. And that's how it stands with 14:50 to play in the half. Well, on the first play of the second period, it was a touchdown pass of 43 yards from McMahon to McKinnon, tying it up at 7-all, and 6 plays, 67 yards, 3:50 on the clock.
And you have to credit a good pass from McMahon, but overall it was the faking by McMahon that held the free safety, Wes Hopkins, and he was really faked out on the play. And McKinnon just beat his man and was wide open, made the catch. Bears back in the game, and that fumble by the Eagles turns out to be very big, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. Thomas to the 2-yard line. It is number 24, Ray Ellis, getting out to the 16. A flag down on the play. And the first man down the field for the Chicago Bears, Kelvin Atkins, number 51. And number 57, David Simmons, reserve linebackers on the special teams. A penalty is signaled against Philadelphia. So a little different kind of a football game than the last time these two teams met, 7-6 in the rain at Veterans Stadium. We've had some big plays here. Jaworski to Quick for 47 yards. And from McMahon to McKinnon for 43.
Number 57.
Let's see that play again.
Okay, now watch number 48. He's the key guy. As you're going to see Dennis McKinnon come from left to right. But watch 48. He's at the top of your screen. McMahon fakes down there, hides the ball. 48 comes up there, and then all of a sudden he realizes that it's a pass down the field. He was not able to help down deep at all, and it was a touchdown.
Bill Cowher was charged for holding on the kickoff. So on first down, Michael Williams runs into a man much bigger than he is, Otis Wilson, number 55. And when they were standing up together, you could see a bit of a physical mismatch there. And he picked up maybe a yard at the 10-yard line. Otis Wilson, 6'2", 225-pounder.
And here's another look at that play as the Eagles are really stacked up back against their old goal line. There's the old bear hug by Otis Wilson. Around and around we go.
Second and about 9 to go for the Eagles out of the I formation. Quick in motion back toward the ball. They give it to Williams again, and he is met right at the line of scrimmage. And it was Dent, Richard Dent, the rookie from Tennessee State, getting his first start at right defensive end for the injured Al Harris, and he stopped him cold. No gain.
The Bears are really working with a patched up defensive line and a lot of injuries on this team, and so far they're playing fairly well. Dent, that time, stayed at home from his position, and the ball carrier came back and ran right into his arm. So the Bear defense is getting stoked up a little bit. The Eagles better get going here.
Third down defense is in. 2 extra defensive backs for the Bears. 2 linebackers out. Quick in motion behind the ball this time. Jaworski scrambles out of the pocket and gets loose and has a first down. What a job by Ron Jaworski, as Keys and Terry Schmidt both had a shot at him short of first down yardage, and Jaworski, not known as a great running quarterback, broke loose and got the first down. What an effort.
Pretty good by Jaworski, who's not known as a runner. As the pocket broke down on him, he was forced to go out and to run, and 2 men had a shot at him, as you said, Keys and Terry Schmidt, both, and he gives him a little dipsy-do a la Walter Payton. Look at that move. Gets outside, heads for the first down marker, and got it. Good play by Jaworski.
32-year-old Ron Jaworski, currently ranked 6th in the NFC in the quarterback ratings. showing some running ability. First down, Eagles from their own 20-yard line. Quick drop by Jaworski. Sideliner. A pass was low but was caught. Good effort over there by Vito Cab, the tight end, number 84, who left the game on the first series with a sprained knee, a sprained knee, and so is not feeling 100% out there, but he made a good catch. Pickup of only 3 on the play, however, with Gary Campbell, a linebacker, number 59, on the coverage. Green Bay now in front of Minnesota 10-0 in that big game. Cleveland leading Tampa Bay 10-0. And Detroit in front of Houston 7-3. Buffalo and the Jets are scoreless in the second period. Second down and 6. Hubie Oliver, nowhere to go. Gang tackling by the Bears, led by Steve McMichael, and then Todd Bell coming up from safety. Pickup of maybe a yard on the play. Take another look at that one from our ground level viewpoint.
You can see there's no place for him to go, so he's back against the grain here, but no help. Todd Bell comes in to finish off the tackle, almost had himself a face mask. So now the Eagles have a 3rd and 4. It's the most interesting call in football, I think. 3rd and 4.
3 wide receivers are in for it. Quick, Melvin Hoover, second-year wide receiver from Arizona State, getting some action. Then Harold Carmichael. Quick in motion behind the ball. Flag down. Jaworski deep for Hoover. Hoover has the ball. Frazier in pursuit. Trips him up. And he falls down at the 11-yard line, but there is a flag back at the line of scrimmage. And it is illegal procedure against the Eagles. Melvin Hoover's moment in the clouds is going to be taken away, as the second-year man from Arizona State had only 2 catches coming into the game. A big gainer is called back.
Oh, another key penalty.
62-yard play that was, Johnny, and what a tough break for the Eagles there.
Well, it looked like there was a little bit of confusion there right before the snap of the ball. Maybe they didn't get 7 men up on the line of scrimmage. Illegal motion.
2 men in motion. Number 34. 3rd down.
2 men in motion at one time, and that's a no-no.
Bob McElwee, the referee, fingered the running back, number 34, Hubie Oliver, for being in motion. They had Quick in motion off the wing, and evidently Oliver got moving before the ball was snapped as well. So a tough break for the Eagles on a perfectly executed 62-yard pass play to Melvin Hoover, and it's called back. So that makes it 3rd and 9 for the Eagles, and the ball is now at their 22-yard line. Again, they go with Carmichael, Quick, and Hoover, all on the left side of the field. Jaworski has the time up the middle for Hoover, and it is incomplete. Almost intercepted by Terry Schmidt, who had a free shot at the football. It looked like Jaworski thought Hoover was going to go inside, and Hoover was headed to the sideline again.
Well, that may have been one of their situations where the receivers adjust as they go down the field on their patterns according to the defense, and Jaworski read it one way and the receiver read it the other way, and that's what can happen in that kind of a...
We were talking about that yesterday. You'd love to be able to get that stat, but the clubs would never give it to you. How many times did a receiver and a quarterback were not able to pick each other up on the read changes during the course of the route, leading to either interceptions or incompletions? It seems to happen fairly frequently. Max Runiger is punting for the first time today for the Philadelphia Eagles. When they last played the Bears, Tom Splitini was their punter. He was let go, and Runiger, former Eagle, brought back. His punt comes down to McKinnon at the 45-yard line. McKinnon gets loose for a few yards and gets the ball into Eagles territory, so Runiger having a little trouble into the wind with his punt. And the Bears have good field position at Philadelphia's 48-yard line when we return with the score tied at 7, 10:20 remaining in the first half. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, we are back at Soldier Field, where it looks like the sun is trying to crack through the overcast skies here in Chicago. We had a few flakes of snow around kickoff time, but now it's quite a bit brighter here in Chicago. First down for the Chicago Bears following a 32-yard punt by Max Runiger. The ball at the Eagles' 48. Matt Suey takes it outside, shakes one tackle, and then has dropped the ball as he was hit by Robinson. Loose ball recovered by the Eagles, and they take it down the sideline. Dennis Harrison picked up the loose ball, which was apparently stripped by Jerry Robinson. He had the tackle on Matt Suhey, and Suhey had just made a nice run. So turnovers continue to plague both teams. The Eagles have turned it over twice, and now the Bears have coughed it up.
And this has been the problem with both teams throughout the entire season. They have had trouble with key fumbles, and Suhey did a good job here. It's too bad that you fumble. It almost looked like there was offsides there as Suhey ad-lib went to the outside and avoided a tackle by Reggie Wilkes, and then the ball is knocked loose, and here comes Dennis Harrison to make the recovery, and he has a convoy with him, Philadelphia's ball.
Wes Hopkins getting in on the lick that turned the ball loose, so the Eagles take over at the Bears 35. That is Michael Haddix, and Haddix is driven out by Richard Dent and Steve McMichael, and there'll be very little, if any, gain on the play. Michael Haddix, the rookie from Mississippi State, had his fumbleitis problems early in the season, then sat out a couple of games, and since that time, Marion Campbell has worked him from a wingback position. He's been catching the ball some, doing quite a bit of blocking, not carrying too often. They think that his potential, of course, is still enormous. He's got 163 yards rushing and has caught 13 passes. Jaworski 5 of 7. He's got a touchdown and an interception so far, as we are still in the first half of play. Second and nearly 10. Quick in motion behind the ball. Just got it away, and it is incomplete. Mike Hartenstein was actually in the pass coverage on Hubie Oliver, along with the linebacker Mike Singletary. Would have been something if the defensive end made an interception.
That's right. He really gave it to Oliver, too, as this was a planned play to take Oliver out of the backfield, number 34. He dips over the middle there. It looks like there's a big hole there. Watch Hartenstein come from the right of your screen, number 73, and really lays it to Oliver along with Singletary. So the Bears quickly filled the gap there on Oliver.
Steve McMichael had the pressure on Jaworski, forcing him to throw it early. Third down for the Eagles, trying to take advantage of the fumble recovery. Quick in motion. Jaworski is sacked, and it is Steve McMichael. So the Bears defense rises up after the fumble recovery by the Eagles, and they have stopped him.
Steve McMichael, he's number 76. He just takes a dip to the outside, goes to the inside, gets inside number 73, Steve Kinney, and makes the tackle. Jaworski had no chance to look down the field, and McMichael was pretty easy on him, wasn't he? He had him. He said, "You're bent over, you can't throw the ball. I'm not going to slam you down." Steve McMichael.
So Runager comes in to punt, standing at his own 45-yard line. McKinnon waiting for it at the 10. Runager, like Parsons, very good in that department of dropping the ball in there inside the 20. McKinnon lets that one go as Runager failed to keep it inside the 20 that time. It goes into the end zone for a touchback, and the Bears will start from their own 20-yard line. So Chicago's got to feel a little bit lucky here. They turned the ball over in their own end of the field and wound up forcing the Eagles to punt, so no damage done. We'll return with 9:18 remaining in the first half. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, we are back at Soldier Field, where the Chicago Bears, tied with the Eagles at 7, will start from their 20-yard line following Runager's punt into the end zone. McMahon, the quarterback, designated as the starter the rest of the way, with Vince Evans apparently headed to the USFL. Play action. McMahon, he's got a man open, Willie Galt, and Galt is dropped as soon as he caught the ball, but it is a Chicago first down at the 42-yard line. Herman Edwards making the tackle on Willie Galt.
Willie Galt getting into the action. Watch him take off here. Herman Edwards has to play off him. He's got his head down, he's running, and all of a sudden stopped, and the pass timing was perfect as McMahon put it there, and Galt made the grab. Good pattern by Willie Galt, good pass, and Herman Edwards played it as well as you could. You got somebody that can run 9 flat at you. You got to play off him a little bit and hope that there's something wrong with the timing on the pass. Willie Galt, who caught most of his passes earlier in the season, is hoping to become more of a part of the action.
22-yard gain to the 42 of Chicago. Play action again. McMahon deep for Galt. And it is broken up nicely by Roynell Young. The ball hanging up a little bit just at the last second and giving Roynell Young a chance to make a good defensive play.
Galt had him beat, and actually, I think the pass may have been somewhat long enough, but it was to the outside, which bent his back over to the outside. If he'd thrown it a little more to the inside, it had a better shot at it, but it was back there, and Young just made a stab at the ball and batted it away. Good recovery by Roynell Young, and they went to the other side. That's interesting. You know, with Galt, they ran him on the left side against Edwards on the stop, and then they went to the other side of the field. You'd think they might have done it on the other side.
You might as well try them all.
That's right. Give everybody a shot at it.
2nd and 10. They give it to Payton. Payton picks his way, jumps over 1 or 2 tacklers, and gets out near midfield. It'll bring up a 3rd and about 2. Now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brandon, New York.
Tim, we could have a 3-way tie in the NFC Central. The Packers are dominating the Vikings 17-0 after this pass to Jefferson, and also the Lions, of course, continue to be ahead of Houston. Back to Tim now.
All right, Minnesota at 6-4 going into the game. Detroit and Green Bay tied at 5-5 in this, as usual, kind of crazy NFC Central division. The Bears apparently out of things, but maintaining anything can happen, and they may be right. 3rd and 2. Matt Suhey trying to get that first down and apparently did not get it. Carl Hairston, number 78, did a fine defensive job stacking things up. He had a chance to talk to Hairston yesterday, and he's a real leader of that defensive unit. The crowd instructing Mike Ditka to go for it.
He will.
On 4th and about the length of the football. They're going to measure.
It's very close. He might have made it anyway. It's very, very close. But if he hasn't, I'm sure that Ditka, knowing his personality, will give it a shot.
Knowing his record, too, might have a factor in the decision. This is short of the first down by, inches, literally, maybe 3 or 4 inches. It's at the Eagles' 48-yard line. The game tied at 7. And the Bears, this is one of those situations where you've got to go for it just to assert yourself with the other team, that you feel you can pick up that amount. McMahon, really all he has to do is wedge forward if that's the way they go. Now, what do you think they'll do? Will they give it to somebody else?
Well, they usually give it to Payton up and over, but as you said, it's only an inch or 2 to go. He might just fall forward and try and get it that way.
Byron Darby has come in defensively. The
Payton is so deep. Look at Payton.
3 defensive ends.
7 yards back off the line of scrimmage.
Long way for him to come.
Yep.
Turned out to be a rather easy move for Jim McMahon. Good blocking behind Hilgenberg, his center, Jay Hilgenberg, and Jackson and Becker, the guards. So the Bears have a first down.
3-yard gain. Keep that up. They go right down the field.
They get to the 45-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. And there you see Ed Hughes on the right, now on the left of your screen with a hat, and Mike Ditka chewing that gum and showing his nervous tension along the sideline as usual. But he's got to feel fairly good about the play so far of his team in this first half. They've picked up 2 turnovers, and that's something they haven't done much of in the early season going. They've hurt themselves with a couple of penalties, however. Play action again. Swing it out to Payton. He's got some running room. Payton gets away from Young, dances down the sidelines, and a nice diving block tackle by Jerry Robinson knocks him out of bounds, but Payton is now at the 29-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles in a first down.
And good faking by McMahon, and what a super effort by Payton. He's the safety valve as he again looks down the field, dumps it out. Roynell Young is the only man there, and watch him just, his legs just disappear. Young doesn't even touch him, and he dips over him down the field and finally knocked out of bounds. What a super athlete.
Walter Payton to the 29-yard line. The Bears have a first down with a score tied at 7. Moorhead shifts to the wing right off the tight end. Now comes in motion. Payton running off tackle, got 2 good blocks and cuts it upfield to about the 22-yard line, where Robinson and number 46 Herman Edwards combined on the tackle. A pickup of about 5 for Payton. And there is Jim McMahon getting the play in from the sidelines. The Bears do a little bit of signaling, but normally they shuttle the plays in. with the tight ends normally, Saldi, Moorhead, Dunsmore being the play carriers. And Mike Ditka's gone back and forth with the play calling system of the Bears. Ed Hughes called the early part of the season, then Ditka took it over, and he told us yesterday that Hughes has the job again, which he got back last week, but Ditka said he'd be involved in some of the play calling. 2nd and 5. Suey going straight ahead, gets inside the 20-yard line, and that'll be close to the first down. Certainly bring up 3rd and very short. Ken Clark, the nose tackle, number 71, making the stop for the Eagles. And the Eagles now showing some problems against the run, as they have through much of the season. But last week, doing awfully well against Dallas, holding Dorsett and company to just 114 yards rushing. Detroit now in front of Houston 10-3. And St. Louis leading Seattle 21-7. New England and Miami, they're having a little dogfight there. Kansas City in front of Cincinnati 10-6 in the second period. 3rd down, about a yard for the Bears at the Eagles 20. And they ran out of time.
Oh.
Now that hurts on a 3rd and 1, and again, the kind of an error that has plagued the Chicago Bears. Was it in making the decision on the call? Was it on getting the play in? Was it on misinterpretation when it arrived? Whatever it was, it used up more than the allowed 30 seconds.
Well, I think it's a combination of those things, Tim. Whenever you call the plays on the sidelines, then get a player, send it in to the quarterback, he has to call it, then you get up to the line of scrimmage, you always run the risk of delay of game, and that's what happened on that one, and that really changes the situation. 3rd and 2 to about 3rd and 7 now.
Yeah, it looks like about 3rd and 6, and it's at the 20, just inside the 25-yard line, but it's a totally different play call. Slot formation left. McKinnon in the slot, now in motion. Blitz. One setback. Eagles on the blitz, and there comes number 48, Wes Hopkins, to drop McMahon, and so that really hurt him, and the Eagles responded with a big defensive play, driving the Bears back to their 37-yard line.
Hopkins comes from the outside and from the backside, and that was the best way to come when you're coming, because of the fact that the quarterback can't see him. McMahon's looking the other way. He comes in from the outside. Nobody blocks him. He's got a free shot at it, and McMahon can't see him, and he can't find a receiver. They're covered downfield, and takes the hit from Hopkins, and that was a big play, and that just about kills that drive as Bob Parsons is in to punt.
The 3rd sack of the day for the Philadelphia Eagles. They don't 4:30 to play in the first half.
They don't safety blitz all that much either.
No, they don't. That was a perfectly timed safety blitz for a team that doesn't do it much. Parsons standing at his own 49. Did he get it at the goal line?
Nope.
Nope. Almost. Nice try downfield. Anthony Hutchison, number 32, making a good effort at the goal line, trying to keep the ball in the field of play, but it'll be a touchback, and the Eagles will start from their 20. We're tied at 7. Marion Campbell came prepared for Windy City weather in November. That looks more like December kind of clothing. It's not real cold here. The temperature's in the high 30s for the game today. First down from the 20-yard line of the Eagles following Parsons' punt. Pitch out to Michael Williams. Williams gets some good running room, good blocking, and picks up 8, maybe 9 yards on the play. Mike Singletary and Gary Campbell make the tackle. They had good blocking from Ron Baker and Jerry Sizemore and Vito Cav. Coming up this afternoon on CBS Sports, our doubleheader action, we'll have 9-1 Dallas against the exciting San Diego Chargers. And all of you, except those of you here in Chicago, will get to see our second game this afternoon. The high-flying Cowboys and the high-scoring but defensively susceptible San Diego Chargers. 2nd and 1 for the Eagles at their own 29, out of the I formation. Haddock's in motion off the wing. Oliver trying to get the first down, and
fumble.
A loose ball recovered by the Eagles, and they'll wind up picking up a bigger gain to the 45-yard line. Ron Baker, the guard, number 63, making a terrific effort to dive on that loose ball. He probably knocked the wind out of himself landing on the football, but a good job by Baker as the ball came loose.
You know, that was an amazing play. Baker did a good job, but usually if you fumble down in the defensive backfield of the other team, down like that, you don't have much chance to recover. Usually the defense will get it. That time there were no defensive backs around. Everybody was up for the tackle, and the Eagles recovered it. Good hustling play by Ron Baker, and he got the wind knocked out of him, but he'll take it to get that football.
Oh, will he ever?
Yeah.
Came over from Baltimore on a trade in 1980 and has become a starter. Let's see it again.
Okay, where are all the Chicago Bears? We're going to find out as he fumbles. All the defensive backs are in there. You can see Todd Bell, 25. Everybody's up there, and nobody around. And here comes Baker, 63, and he really smothered it. No chance that was going to squirt out. There's the official on the ground there, getting a good bird's eye view.
Jim Fritchie, number 72, has come in to replace Baker, at least for this play. Fritchie, the first-year man out of Purdue. First down for the Eagles at their own 43-yard line. Cab is set on the wing right. Pardon me, Oliver. Oliver, number 34, in motion. Nearly a drop ball by Jaworski. The pass to Quick, and it is almost intercepted by Richardson. Mike Richardson. Dave Dewerson, the safety, coming over. Actually, broke up the interception because he was playing the ball as well.
That was an unbelievable play because it looked like the pass was going to be right in Quick's hands. Richardson was beaten by a half a step. At the last second, he just throws his hand out there and batted the ball away. You can see he's beat. The pass is there, and he just puts up a hand right there, and then here comes Dewerson, and they all had a shot at it. Wound up, nobody got the ball. Good defensive play by Mike Richardson at the last second.
2nd and 10. Ron Baker back in at right guard for the Eagles. And all kinds of motion along the line. Flags everywhere, and the signal is against the Philadelphia Eagles. Major Everett has come into the ball game for the first time for the Eagles, the rookie from Mississippi College, who was a teammate of Michael Williams.
Number 63, offense, 2nd down.
And it was Ron Baker who was offside. So they've got 2 of the rookies from Mississippi College in the backfield.
I think we're going to see more of this one-on-one situations because the Eagles have such tall receivers. That is 6'5", and Carmichael 6'8", Quick 6'2", and the Bear defensive backs aren't that tall.
2nd and 15 from the pro set. Jaworski gets time up the middle for Cab, incomplete. Cab looked like he was diving for the ball a little bit prematurely. Singletary on the coverage. So it'll bring up 3rd down. A week ago, the Eagles receivers had 10 drops. I think Marion Campbell told us he had figured out something like 130 yards that they had lost on those drops alone. And he gave him some extra practice. Asked Mike Quick, think that was a good idea? He said, yes, it was a good idea.
All week they had extra pass drills.
3rd down and 15. Quick and Hoover and Carmichael, 3 wide receivers are in now for Philadelphia. 7-7 the score, 2:22 remaining first half. Major Everett, the lone setback.
Okay.
Again, they give him good time, and Cab drops another one. Vito Cab, it is possible Todd Bell got a finger on that ball reaching from in front of Cab, but it appeared from our angle that Cab simply dropped it again. The 2nd-year man from Penn State. Well, Marion Campbell doesn't say it out loud, but most everybody else does in Philadelphia, that they really miss John Spagnola, the starting tight end who's been out with a back injury. And the best news for Eagles fans is that Spagnola has practiced this past week for the first time all season long. Whether he gets back in this season is still questionable. They'd love to see him back. Max Runiger got to warm up the hands a little bit. McKinnon waits for the punt at the 20-yard line. And the Eagles, well, there's 10 seconds on the clock, but a flag down. Not sure what happened here. There was
one of the Bears is saying that the Eagles, somebody moved, he came across and made contact. But they're calling it against, they are calling it against the Eagles.
Well, they'll march it back to the 34-yard line.
Offense, 4th down.
One thing I want to mention, we talk about the Cab there. That first one of those 2, that first one was a tough catch. And I don't want to say that was a drop pass because it was ball was thrown way out on him. He had to dive for it. That was not a drop one.
4th down. Harry Harrington charged with the outside. Rudiger hits it from his 24-yard line. Pretty good punt, and McKinnon caught it and was dropped immediately at the 25. And that was Major Everett, number 39, the rookie running back, making a good tackle, and McKinnon did a good job to hold on. A 41-yard punt by Rudiger into the wind. Good job.
He got by Gentry, I believe. McKinnon was saying to his teammates, hey, can't you hold those guys up at the line of scrimmage just a little bit? Because he catches the ball and takes a real pounding. Actually should have made a called a fair catch, but these days in the NFL, you're considered kind of, what, chicken?
Wimpy? Is that the word?
Yeah, it's like when they first put the face bars on and first started wearing mouth guards. You know, the first guys to do it are always considered the timid ones.
First down at the 25-yard line of the Chicago Bears. We have a tie football game. 2 long passes accounting for the scoring. Suey on the kind of a semi-draw play, and he picks up about 9 yards. It was Ken Clark who tripped him up. And the 2-minute warning has sounded here at Soldier Field. The Bears will have second and less than a yard from their own 34-yard line when we return to Chicago Soldier Field. We are back at Soldier Field. 2 minutes remaining in the first half, tied at 7. Touchdown pass from Jaworski to Quick, opening it for the Eagles back in the first period. And then on the first play of the second quarter, McMahon to McKinnon, a 43-yard touchdown pass. And that's been it. Second and a yard for the Chicago Bears. Straight drop for McMahon. Has the time. Can't find a man, and he'll be sacked. The 4th sack. Good coverage downfield by the Eagles secondary. Dennis Harrison, who has 1 already, and gives him 10 on the season for big number 68. A 6-year man from Vanderbilt.
That puts him up right towards the top of the sackers in the National Football League. I think Levin was top going into this game. He now has 10, and he persisted on that one because McMahon had a long time to throw the football. Good coverage downfield by the rest of the Eagles allowed Harrison to continue his pass rush, and he was able to get McMahon as he was ready to run out of the pocket.
It'll be 3rd and about 6 when we return with a timeout called by the Bears.
This is the hard side of Chicago, where life can be a dead-end street without someone who cares. Hi, I'm Walter Payton of the Chicago Bears, and I know because I grew up in a neighborhood where we didn't have agencies and programs to help keep kids on the right track. But here in Chicago, we do. Let me show you what I mean, guys. Let's see if we can make it to the lake. Let's go for it. It doesn't make any difference what age you are or what neighborhood you live in. Youth agencies like the Wise and Scouting, Campfire, and Big Brothers and Sisters, Boys and Girls Clubs, and others are giving youngsters here in Chicago a chance. We're proud of Chicago and all the United Way agencies that make sure that every kid has a chance to go for it in life. We made it! Thanks to you, it works for all of us. United Way.
The preceding message was brought to you by the National Football League. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back here at Soldier Field. 1:54 to play. The Bears are 1 out of 6 on 3rd down conversions so far. They have a big one here. 3rd and 6. They're in the 2-minute drill. 7 defensive backs are in for the Eagles, and the pass is complete to Moorhead and a first down to the 39-yard line of the Bears. A hurry-up offense underway. They were much criticized for their lack of an effective 2-minute drill last week in the final minutes against the Los Angeles Rams. Let's see what they do here coming to the end of this first half. McMahon, sideliner for Moorhead, incomplete. On the coverage, Roynell Young. The clock stopped with 1:28 to play in the half.
They are doubling both outside guys, wheeling to both sidelines, so you have short and deep on the 2 wide receivers, and that's why the Bears have gone to Moorhead the last couple of plays. But that doesn't automatically shut out your outside guys. A good outside guy, a wide receiver, if he goes down the field, avoids the first jam, the other man is playing very loose, and he can run a deep out or a hook in and head for the sideline. So some offenses think once you double both outside guys, you've got to throw to the tight end or a back swinging. You don't necessarily have to do that.
The Eagles have 7 defensive backs in: Ellis, Wilson, and Shira, joining the regular 4. Up the middle for McKinnon, a little too high. Got a fingertip on it, could not bring it in. Third down. Interestingly, Johnny, each team has rushed 15 times. They had similar game plans for the first half here. The Bears with 71 yards, the Eagles with 56.
Kenny Marjoram has come into the game for the Bears. He's been out a couple of weeks with a sprained ankle. So number 82, Kenny Marjoram in.
Yeah, he said that he's feeling better this week. He's been running full out in practice. McKinnon got the starting spot with Galt, but they've got all three in there now. Darby, Armstrong, and Brown are the front three with all those defensive backs, and Jerry Robinson for the Eagles. McMahon trying to find an open man. He'll run the football, trying to get to the sideline, and he does. At the 47-yard line of the Eagles, 1:14 on the clock, and a Bears first down. So those 7 defensive backs are making life difficult downfield for McMahon and the Bears. But Jim McMahon, seeing that and seeing real estate in front of him, got the yardage for the first down and got out of bounds to stop the clock.
Nobody saw it, but Al Conway, the umpire, did he get decked out there? You know, it's a dangerous job.
Yes,
being an umpire with 22 250-pounders running around all over. It's like a game of checkers trying to avoid them.
Especially when you've got a lot of receivers into the patterns like you do in a 2-minute drill here. Boy, they're running around all over the field. That's the third carry by McMahon rushing, and he's picked up 30 yards. That's not a bad average. First and 10. McKinnon, Marjoram, and Galt, the wide receivers, out of the shotgun. Up the middle for McKinnon. He's got it. Dennis McKinnon to the 26-yard line. Wes Hopkins and Ray Ellis put the stop on him, but McKinnon showing his quicks. First down, Bears at the 26, and that gets a rise from the crowd. Timeout is called by Chicago. Their first timeout, or their second, pardon me, with 1:02 remaining in the first half of play.
Now, you can see McKinnon came out of the slot and just came over across the middle and found a hole and made the key catch. So the Bears are in field goal territory now. Of course, they would like to get the touchdown, but they are in the range of Bob Thomas at this time. However, if they do kick, they would be kicking. No, they would be kicking with the wind.
Bears will have one more timeout remaining. And this one concludes, and we want to remind you that next Saturday, the NCAA Today begins at 3:30 Eastern Time, and our football coverage will have regional games highlighted by Washington State at Washington. Of course, the Huskies are 8-2 overall and 5-1 in the Pac-10, a very big game. You may remember last year they would have clinched the Pac-10, but they lost to their arch rivals from Washington State, 24-20, so revenge is a factor. Other games, West Virginia, Syracuse, Duke at North Carolina, Tennessee at Kentucky. Check the local listings for the game and time in your area. College football next Saturday on CBS Sports. McMahon, 8 out of 12 in the 2-minute drill, 1:02 on the clock remaining first half. 7-7 the score. Bears driving. The rush is on, and he is dropped, and Harrison is there again. The ball is loose, but play is dead. Dennis Harrison and Wes Hopkins, the safety, combining to get Jim McMahon back at the 41-yard line of the Eagles, an all-out blitz, and it paid off. 57 seconds left.
And Bigfoot was in there again. You got to give him at least a half a sack on that one as they went with the safety blitz, brought everybody. McMahon had no chance to find anybody down the field, and down he goes. And boy, that was a fumble as far as I could see. He was hit, and the ball came out way before he went down.
Well, they may have been in the grasp of the rusher call by the official there, that the passer was in the grasp of the.
We'll take another look at it maybe a little later and see.
The official had already indicated play was dead. You could see in that replay. So the Bears now from the 26-yard line. Timeout called. McMahon did not like what he saw, and that's the final timeout with 57 seconds left.
Let's take one more look at this last play, and you judge for yourself. Was it a fumble? He's running back. They hit him and knocked the ball loose. I would say that's a fumble. I would say it's a bad call by the officials.
Well, what I'm wondering here, Johnny, is did they consider that an incomplete pass? Surely not.
No.
Line of scrimmage is still at the 26-yard line. They didn't give them the sack loss on the play.
Well, that is hard to understand.
Well, that one I can't figure out at all. When he came up to line up there, I thought maybe I had somehow lost the markers, but they're 2nd and 10, right where they were. Well, that the original line of scrimmage.
Dennis Harrison was complaining about there.
Well, he certainly never got his arm up to try and throw the football. Coming up at halftime, you'll see Brent Nerve, scores and highlights, legends of the game, Lincoln and Lowe. You know who they are? Keith Lincoln and Paul Lowell, the San Diego Chargers, the Old American Football League. What a combination. The twin terrors of the Chargers. That's our feature today at halftime. Now, meanwhile, we are told that they called that an incomplete pass. Now, that is unbelievable. I mean, we were questioning whether it was a fumble or not. I saw the official obviously signaling play dead. There's Bob Thomas, who may get in here to try for the go-ahead field goal. But to call that an incomplete pass is absolutely incredible. 2nd and 10, Walter Payton. Eagles do a fine job of shutting him down out the left side. They gave him nowhere to go. Greg Brown, number 98. Hopkins, number 48, who has been a big factor in this first half today.
There's a penalty. There's going to be a penalty on Hopkins, I think, as he threw the ball, or a penalty on somebody. He did throw the ball, and Noah Jackson was...
Delay of the game, defense.
Yeah.
Delay of game penalty for picking up the football. Of course, the Bears are in a 2-minute drill here, so he is delaying the game. They want to get back in and keep the play moving. They wind up here. It's a break for them both ways. This clock is stopped with 40 seconds left, and they'll have a penalty marched off against the Eagles. So a rather bad miscue by Philadelphia there.
Delay of the game, defense. Third down.
Didn't pick anybody out in particular.
It was Wes Hopkins, and now here comes another penalty. The Bears are going to score one way or the other because it's just not the Eagles' few minutes. Dennis Harrison, I believe, or somebody's going to get called for swearing or whatever. I don't know what he did, but something he said to the official has brought about another penalty.
Well, that'll probably fall in the unsportsmanlike conduct. Look what this is doing to the Eagles here.
Well, they are obviously upset on the McMahon play. They couldn't understand how that could be a forward pass, and that's what Harrison was complaining about. And it's all just built up. They've done 2 or 3 things now and gotten penalized, and they're a little bit frustrated. So,
well, when you have 2 teams that have had the kind of problems they've had this year, you can expect this kind of activity. This has been fairly typical.
He wasn't ejected, was he? I don't know if he was ejected.
I think
just taking him off the team.
Yeah, right. I'm sure they just took him out to cool him down. He's having such a great game. They sure don't want him out of the football game by ejection. First down for the Bears at the 11-yard line.
Here they come again.
McMahon gets away from Darby and dives to the 2-yard line. Roynell Young pulls him down there, and Darby came back to help out. Good job by McMahon. 26 seconds and counting. 2nd and about a yard to go for a first down. They need to get to the 1-yard line for a first down. They flip it for McKinnon. He didn't see it. That stops the clock. McKinnon made a short turn there, and McMahon threw it deep to the corner. But what he mainly wanted to do was to get the clock stopped. 16 seconds. And they have stopped the clock. They have no more timeouts. They have a 3rd and a yard to go for a first down. And they are at just inside the 3-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. What a wild and woolly 2 minutes.
Well, if they run the ball here, and don't make it, they run the risk of not being able to get on the field and kick a field goal in time. So I would
They're bringing in the run blockers. Janata just came in. 2 wide receivers are coming out. Janata and Dunsmore came in. They're going to run.
I don't know if they'll ever get the field goal off if they don't make it. It seems like you could get a couple of passes in.
No, they're going to throw. Who are they going to throw to? Moorhead, that's 2. Touchdown. What a play by McMahon, who got hit after he threw the ball. Emery Moorhead was the only receiver, apart from the backs, who was on the field. That was an interesting play, an interesting call, an interesting execution. And at least they were interesting.
That's right. Greg Brown was all over McMahon. He looked for Moorhead, who went down to the back of the end zone. Moorhead adjusted his pattern, went to the outside. McMahon threw it kind of actually off balance, and the Bears end up with a touchdown. Unbelievable drive.
Thomas in for the point after. They had no wide receivers in on that play. Point after is good, and the Chicago Bears, with 10 seconds remaining in the first half of play, have taken the lead against the unfortunate Philadelphia Eagles, who had all kinds of bad things happen to them.
Okay, the partial rollout. Take a look for Emery Moorhead up at the top right of your screen as McMahon, under pressure, waits for him to come back against the grain. Moorhead brought it in. The man from Evanston scores for the Chicago Bears, and I'm sure the Eagles are going to be talking about that drive in the locker room. They are upset. That is something. Well, that was an interesting call for a pass play, and certainly well disguised from the point of view that they had 2 tight ends in, and they brought in John Janata as an extra offensive lineman, so they were showing run when they changed their personnel. They had no wide receivers, and they sent Payton out into the pattern, and the tight end Moorhead, and McMahon delivered to Moorhead. Interesting play. 10 seconds remaining. McMahon has carried the ball 4 times for 37 yards, and in that drive they won 75 yards in 12 plays for the go-ahead score. And about, what, 5 penalties? Absolutely aided by a very questionable call on the part of the official, and the 2 penalties against the Eagles following that. A low kickoff is finally fielded at the 27-yard line. I believe it was number 72, and that would be Jim Fritchie, the reserve guard, who juggled it somewhat but did a good job in making sure the ball did not get loose. 159, 75 yards, 12 plays for the score, and the Eagles will have a first down with this final 7 seconds. You know, that was a 1 minute and 59-yard drive, and I looked at the clock. It took about 20 minutes to play that 159. Did you know that, Tim? I didn't realize that, no. We may be here a little late today. Well, they're just going to cover that football and head into the locker down 7. The Philadelphia Eagles, who just got to be some kind of riled up with the events that occurred during that 2-minute drill leading to the go-ahead touchdown by the Chicago Bears. So that is the score at halftime. The Bears 14, the Philadelphia Eagles 7. We'll be right back.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the all-new Toyota Corolla Sport Liftback, reborn for 1984. See it at your local Toyota dealer. And by Goodyear, makers of Arriva, the all-season radio.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field, where the Chicago Bears lead the Eagles 14-7 at halftime. And Johnny, that patchwork Bears defense did a really outstanding job against the Eagles in the first half. Total yards of only 137. The Bears had 223, and they created 2 turnovers with an interception and a fumble recovery, both by Leslie Frazier of the Bears secondary. 223 yards is the same trend for the Bears as all season. They go up and down the field, but they don't score that many points, but they do have 14 at the half. Of course, there was a little help along the way. Boy, oh boy. Well, let's talk about the help along the way in that final 2-minute drill. One of the more unbelievable calls that we really have in our memory of NFL football. Let's go back and take a look at the tape. This is where the sack appeared to be on McMahon, and it even looked like a fumble. It wound up being an intercepted pass.
Now you can see the blitz as Hopkins and Dennis Harrison both get in on it, and McMahon is hit and fumbles the ball, and the referee, Bob McElwee, is over to the right, and you will be able to see him to the right signaling incomplete pass. Now, I've been involved in football as a player and a fan, as an analyst for a long time, and this would have to go down as the worst call I've ever seen in my life. Well, and we're trying to interpret it. He put the ball at the line of scrimmage, so he had to rule it an incomplete pass.
Oh, yeah. No, we did determine
it's a terrible call.
It was an incomplete pass. Now, one thing I saw in that replay, Johnny, was that McElwee was being forced away from the play by the rush of Dennis Harrison. He may have turned his head away at the time that he expected that McMahon was lifting his arm to try and throw the ball, and when he looked back, assumed that that's what he had done. That I'm just picking up from seeing this replay at this very moment here. It'd be interesting to find out what McElwee says about it after the game, if he gets to say anything. That's always a question.
Well, the thing was, McMahon never even lifted his arm to throw the ball.
That's right.
He was, I mean, the ball was down, his arms were down at his side, so how could he be attempting to throw a pass?
Well,
even if you glance away for a half a second.
So the Eagles did not get a sack. They didn't get the fumble. What they got was 7 points scored against them as they gave up 2 penalties. Hopkins for throwing the ball in anger, Harrison for hollering at the referee.
Which all stemmed from that call.
14-7, right. But we'll be back for the second half of what has been at least an entertaining and somewhat interesting football game to date.